Glaceon, Articuno, Mamoswine, and Weevil. Some of the best ice Pokemon. Now, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands has nothing to do with Pokemon, but casting the Glacial Cascade spell makes you feel like you're casting Blizzard in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. What's up, YouTube? Zero here. And today, I have a legendary spell review of the Glacial Cascade in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. In this video, I'll go through the overview of the Glacial Cascade that you're seeing in this video. Then I'll go through some pluses and minuses of the Glacial Cascade, what I like and what I don't like about it. Then I'll tell you where you can go to grind for this spell if you're looking to add it to your inventory. Then at the end of the video, I'll get into Fate or Hate. Is this spell fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory, or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Without further ado, let's get into the spell. I have the Frosting Glacial Cascade. This is a legendary Conjura spell. The damage is going to be 1225 multiplied by 3. The critical chance is pretty good at 41%. The cooldown really quick at 9.7 seconds. This is going to be dealing frost damage at 1123 damage per second with a 6% chance. Stick around. Maybe because we're freezing our enemies, we want them to stick exactly where they are. This is enchanted while action skill is active. Increase frost damage by 50%, which is going to work nicely with a spell that deals frost damage. This is plus 20% spell damage, minus 19% spell cooldown, plus 2 projectiles per cast. Of course, it's frost damage, so it slows enemies. And it's a Conjura, so it's a simple cast, fire and forget. Now, I do love the spells that are fire and forget. If you see my previous videos, you'll know those are crucial when you are playing in the higher chaoses. You're being attacked by hordes of enemies. Being able to just fire and forget your spell is going to be nice when you're quickly moving around the arena trying to get away from those hordes of enemies, so I do love that. Something else that I love about the Glacial Cascade is it does only come with frost. So if you're looking for a frost spell, once you get a Glacial Cascade, you know that it's going to come in frost damage. You don't have to continually grind for a different element type to try and fit your needs. You either enjoy the Glacial Cascade with its frost damage or you don't. Granted, frost damage does fit in really well with a lot of different builds, so I like that about the Glacial Cascade. Again, simple fire and forget, which is really nice. The cooldown is also fantastic. 9.7 seconds, you're going to be able to utilize the Glacial Cascade a lot while you are running through chaos chambers, facing bosses, or doing whatever you have to do in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so I do love that as well. One of the drawbacks is the Glacial Cascade does not have a lot of range. You'll see the range as I am casting it throughout this video clip. It is more on the shorter range of spells. So if you are a more medium to long range player, the Glacial Cascade may not be one for you. Granted, when you're grinding through the Chaos Chamber, you're probably going to be facing a lot of enemies, and a lot of them are going to be up close and personal. Regardless of how far away you want to get, a lot of enemies are going to be jumping towards you. So that may not be as much of a factor the higher the chaos you go, but it may be a factor for you if you try to stay away from your enemies as far as possible, because this is a closer range spell. Now that we've talked about the pluses and minuses, let's talk about where you can go to grind for this spell. Actually, just go over to the Chaos Chamber. If you want a chance of dropping this spell, go over to the Chaos Chamber and you have a chance of dropping this spell so you can get it for your inventory. Now that I've talked about the pluses and minuses and where you can go to grind for the spell, let's talk about Fate or Hate. Is this going to be fated to be in the Fate Maker's inventory, or are you going to hate it and should you trash it immediately? Now, I mentioned previously, if you want this spell, it may actually depend on what your build is. Are you a more long-range player? This may not be the spell for you, but let's say that you're a closer to medium-range player. This is actually a fantastic spell. It's a fire and forget. Mine is multiplied by 3, and it can deal a lot of damage very quickly to hordes of enemies trying to put the pressure on you. What's also fantastic is that those hordes of enemies that are charging towards you, because this is only a frost damage spell, you can slow them down as they're charging towards you, so you can easily get away from those hordes of enemies. As you're slowing them down, you can turn tail and run if you want, or you can continue to beat on them as they're slowed down. I really love this spell and I'm gonna fade it, but let me know in the comments section what you're gonna do with this spell. Do you enjoy it as much as I do, or are you gonna trash it? I love it. I think you should fade it. Check it out. You might love it just as much as I do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, peace.